In this video, I'm talking all about my project for the Little Red Dress Project, so let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Elizabeth from elizabethmadethis.com, and I am talking today about my Little Red Dress Project dress. So this is a challenge that's been running, that is being hosted by Renata of Running in Style. I think this is the second year that she's doing this, and this year she's co-hosting it with Rosa from Sewn, and I'll leave their channels in the description box below. But anyway, the idea is you make a red dress, any style, any color of red, anything from blush pink up to like red. I have to say, this is a challenge for me. I do not wear red. Picture it, Houston, Texas, 1996. It's me, and I just won an award for Outstanding Freshman in my high school orchestra. Now you might think this weird little awkward smile has something to do with the fact that I just stood up in front of 250 people to receive an award that I didn't know I was gonna get, but no. It's all because I was wearing this red dress that I felt super uncomfortable in. Why is this significant, people? That was the last time I wore a red dress. It is just a color that I do not feel comfortable in. It's just blah. But I know now that I can wear a lot of makeup and it can be okay. I would say in general for my normal life that putting on this much makeup is just way too fussy and not how I want to go. And it just doesn't feel, I don't feel like I'm in my skin in this color. I did after some thought about it, I did decide to just go for it and be a part of this challenge. And I was lucky enough to find this really beautiful tactile crepe from Michael Levine Fabrics. It is vermilion, so it's actually it's red, but it's a little bit leaning towards orange, and that little bit of extra heat makes it okay. I know that with my hair, because my hair it's blonde, but it has actually quite a lot of red in it, but it's not strawberry blonde, which is interesting. But because of how it is, if I wear a color that is just pure saturated cool, it's just really bad. I feel sick in it when I'm wearing it, and it's just too much. It's just too much, and it just feels too overwhelming. But then you add a little bit of yellow into it, and suddenly it's okay. I really favor kind of springy colors, and that is where my comfort zone is. But sometimes I think you just, wherever your comfort zone is, you just take a hammer to it and then you smash it. And sometimes you throw dynamite at it too. And that's what this time felt more like. This was a dynamite on my comfort zone kind of thing. But that's okay. It was really great. So I started out with this vintage Vogue pattern. This is a reproduction pattern from 1948. It is, oh, what's the number on it? It is 2787. So you can still find this one. It's out of print now, but you can still find it on eBay. You can see it's got all of these little gathers on the neckline and all on the skirt too. And the skirt ends up being kind of A-line a little bit. You'll see when I put my muslin on exactly what I did to kind of reduce some of that volume, because it was the volume was actually really too much on me. And also this is like super long on my torso too, so I had to bring some of this up and take some of the gathers out. But you can see the line drawing. We actually discovered that the line drawing is a little bit wrong from the pattern directions. It starts, the gathers start in slightly different places, but it's not a significant difference. It was just kind of a like head puzzler as I was going through the directions other than that. And then it turns around and it has these buttons on the back of it, and you can actually make it with a zipper instead of the buttons, but I thought the buttons would be a more authentic touch for the era. So there's little thread loops in the back. I'll say too about the finishing on this particular fabric. I used a hand needle and hand did all of the hems on the sleeve and also on the actual hem. And this was just the right thing for this fabric. It shows every last little stitch, and a normal hem would just look not very elegant for the style. And also, when I do facings, I almost always tack them down all the way around the inside of the facing on the inside, because I hate them flopping around when I'm wearing them. On this particular fabric, it's lightweight enough that it really wasn't a big deal, and I did actually spend a couple hours going around with my needle, and I saw every last stitch, so it didn't work, so I pulled all that out of there, which thankfully hand sewing does pull out fairly quickly. But and then on my seams, I just pinked the edges with pinking shears. So I thought that was appropriate for the time period, and it's also really lightweight finish that's not going to add any kind of bulk like serging would. Serging doesn't add a lot, but on fabric like this, that just has that kind of, you know, very lightweight kind of thing. And it's funny, it's lightweight, but it's totally opaque, which is the best of all possible worlds. You don't always get that when you get lightweight fabrics. So I would definitely sew with tactile crepe again. It was just really a lovely experience. And it took all of these gathers on the sleeve, and also all along the body, just really beautifully. So it was really quite easy to work with. I know that the Vogue marks this as advanced, but I think as long as you are comfortable with doing gathers, you can totally handle this dress. The only thing that might be tricky is some of the fitting. So hey, let's get to the fitting, and I'll show you exactly what I had to change on my muslin to make this work. Okay, so funny enough, I remembered that when I finished the muslin, I had to take it apart. So I was gonna wear this to show you exactly all my changes, but then I'm not gonna recreate this because I totally had to just completely destroy it to put all of the changes into my pattern. So okay, the first thing that I had to do was I needed to take out about 1.25 inches to move the gathers up. It was coming down too low on my hips, and so it looked like I was wearing my big sister's dress, which is, this is just a common alteration that I have to do being petite. And I also took 2 inches off of the hem as well. I still kept this midi length because it suits the era, and also because of the long S-shaped gathers, it would have been thrown off. It would have been out of proportion to shorten it anymore. And I also had to move the bust darts up by about 1/2 inch. I just kind of redrew the point to that different spot. So that was pretty simple. This is the side of the sleeve that's gathered. The biggest change that had to be done was in this area. So this is the side that's so you can think of this as like a weird princess seam on this S shaped thing. So this part is the part that's gathered, and this is what goes over it, and you just you stitch them together. The directions have you overlap it and then stitch it down, but I did not want any kind of like extra visible stitching. It didn't make sense. So I'm not sure why they had to do it that way. But anyway, it was funny. I had this moment where I looked at the curve and I thought, you know what, that is not my bust shape at all. So you can see like that's where the original line was, and that's where I ended up bringing it in. So I had to do that in order to just make it to reduce the bust size for me. And this is how I did this on to make the muslin more wearable. But actually ultimately I ended up, you could do it this way, but I split the difference between both of the sides. So it looks like a ton that I'm taking out on that side, but I actually only took about 3/8 of an inch from this side. I just took that 3/8 of an inch along that curve out, and then I did the same 3/8 of an inch off of this part of the curve, just to flatten it out a little bit so that it matched my body shape a little bit better. But that was my changes to the muslin. And the last thing that I had to do was in the skirt. So the skirt actually has quite a lot of volume. It almost kind of like drapes in the front. If you see on the pattern envelope, it almost looks like a front drape to it. But ultimately it was way too much skirt for me, and it just kind of looked overwhelming. So I didn't make it, quite a pencil skirt, but we took out 4 solid inches. And I did all of these changes with the help of my fitting group. I meet with a group of ladies once a month. I met them through a pants fitting group, and we get together once a month, and we just sew and we fit each other in patterns. So I've learned a lot from them in the last 7 years, and they are just a really wonderful group of ladies. Yeah, so that extra, it's pretty much ending right in the middle of the gathers, and it's 4 solid inches just taking out vertically, and that is actually like the perfect amount of still keeping the gathered part of the skirt, but not being too overwhelming for my frame. But that's the pattern changes. So this is not a color that I am gonna, go out and buy a ton of in my wardrobe. This is probably the only red dress that I will have for a really, really, really long time. But I think ultimately it's really elegant, and I love it. I think it's beautiful, and thank you, Renata, for pushing me and for sending me lots of pictures of people with my color hair in red dresses. Because I don't think I would have gone over the edge without that push. So thank you for that. Also too, it's kind of fun because I grabbed this little wrap from the thrift store with this little faux fur, and then I've got long, elegant opera gloves, which are so going to the opera next time I go. That would be really wonderful. I think opera gloves are just the height of elegance, so I'm totally gonna go and do that. But let me talk to you about this fabric. So I saw this fabric on Michael Levine's website, and I thought it was beautiful, not only because it had that little bit of extra heat that I was looking for, but the way they draped it on the mannequin, it just had such a beautiful drape. And then I got it home and I started playing with it, and it just, oh man, it moves like nothing else. You know that scene in Funny Face when Audrey Hepburn is running down the stairs in that beautiful red dress, and she has the silk behind her like that, and it's just like floating in the wind? That's what this fabric is like. It just has this amazing drape, and so tactile, I guess. It's a synthetic, so this one was 80% tactile and 20% polyester. And it's got just a little bit of mechanical stretch to it on the cross grain. It's not a lot, but it's enough that it makes it really, really comfortable to wear. And also, it's really, really lightweight, and I guess tactile dries really quickly. So if this is a really wonderful dress if you wanted to go traveling in it. It wrinkles a little bit more than a polyester would, but it's nothing that a quick pass with an iron couldn't fix. And it was really easy to work with. It's super lightweight. It didn't really move around on me a whole lot. I think that little bit of crepe texture kind of helps the fabric kind of stick to itself a little bit when it's going under the foot, so it's not going to move around on you like a charmeuse would or something like that. So it's actually, it was really nice to work with, and it was only $8 a yard. So if I had found something like this in silk, it would have been, at least twice that, probably more, probably 3 or 4 times more, or more. So I was really glad that I found this, and I think it's really, really lovely. So I will write more about my whole process about my red dress on my blog, elizabethmathis.com. So I'll leave the link for that below. So go and check that out. But also go check out the other red dresses that are popping up on Instagram, because there are just lots of really, really great things. And don't forget to use the hashtag the Little Red Dress Project. Renata told me that we need to make that PSA to everybody, so they make sure that their stuff gets in there, because there's prizes associated with this challenge. So I think there's gonna be a random draw, and we have until Christmas Eve to get it done. And speaking of Christmas Eve and getting stuff done, don't forget that I have a giveaway going on here for that I did for a wrap up to my Handmade Holidays series. So you have until December 24th at 9 a.m. my time, which is US Mountain Time, to go ahead and get that taken care of. And yeah, subscribe to my channel, and you can also check out the post about the giveaway on Instagram too. And yeah, join in that. I'd love to see more people join in the fun for that, just because, hey, I'd love to give away fun stuff too. So thanks for watching. Happy sewing.